2, 1.
Welcome back to the Run Cult podcast, where running meets the culture. I'm your host, Rebecca, and in today's episode, it is going to be powerful, personal, and purpose-driven. This show is all about how running connects us to ourselves, our communities, and deeper causes that matter. And today, we're diving into one of those causes, uterine fibroids, a condition that affects millions of women every year, and one that disproportionately affects Black women. Yet, despite how widespread and life-altering it can be, fibroid awareness still doesn't get the same spotlight as other health movements. Our guest, LaToya, felt that on a deeply personal level. And while other women's health causes were gaining attention, she saw how our community's struggles with fibroids were being overlooked. So she took that pain to the pavement. She founded the Fibroid Pandemic, a community dedicated to helping those with uteruses make informed decisions, access vital resources, and advocate for their own health and well-being. She also created the Run F.A.R. Run F.A.R. 5K, a movement that uses running as a tool for advocacy, healing, and empowerment. Now, on its 4th year, the Run F.A.R. 5K is more than a race. It's a weekend-long experience mixing movement, education, and sisterhood. So, please welcome LaToya. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the Run Cult podcast, LaToya. It's an honor to have you here with us. How's it going? How are you?
First of all, it's an honor to be here, Rebecca. You know, I always start my conversations with just giving gratitude. There are so many people who could be sitting in this seat at this very day, this very time. And the fact that I have been invited to speak about our cause, my cause, I'm just very grateful for the opportunity. So thank you so much for having this conversation with me. Absolutely. So I'm doing well. You know, I'm thriving.
Yes.
I'm thriving. And I always say this quite often, you know, when God calls my number, I just want to make sure that I left empty. I want to make sure that I left empty. And empty meaning that I've given it all that I could to help women navigate through their fibroid healing journey.
Perfect.
So thank you for having me.
Of course. You're very welcome. Thank you for being here. So let's talk a little bit about the cause. You do have a deeply personal, relation to uterine fibroids and this whole walk that you're putting on, these events and the cause. So let's hear a little bit more about your personal story. How did this all begin?
Oh my gosh. So my story started around 2014.
Okay.
My then boyfriend, who's now my husband, he and I did not want to have an unplanned pregnancy. So I had the Mirena IUD implanted. Went to go get it replaced 5 years later, and my OBGYN, who I had been going to for over 12 years, she couldn't locate it. So she's asking me, like, did you take it out? Rebecca, I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know you could remove an IUD. So she sent me in to have a ultrasound. So the ultrasound tech was able to locate she couldn't locate it doing a topical ultrasound. So she did a vaginal ultrasound.
Mm-hmm.
She was able to locate the IUD. She did notice that it shifted just a bit. As I'm getting back dressed, she says, "Oh, so how are your fibroids coming along?" And I go,
Huh?
"What's that?" And she looked mortified. Needless to say, I left with no answers. My doctor, what she said to me was, her very first question was, "Do you plan on having any more children?" And at that time, we had just gotten engaged. And I had said, "Well, I don't know. I mean, planning, no, but like, where are we going with this? I would like to have that as an option if possible." And she said, because of the size of the fibroids and my age, she recommended a hysterectomy. This was literally, I was going to get an IUD removed and replaced.
Oh my goodness.
And I left with not only diagnosis of fibroids, but with the recommendation to have a hysterectomy. And for those who don't know, a full hysterectomy, makes it unable for a woman to bear children naturally on her own. So I'm like, wait, what? Ended up doing my research for 4 years. I did coaching programs. I went vegan, vegetarian, did a whole eat for your blood type diet, did everything I could. I finally had uterine fibroid embolization in 2019. It went off without a hitch. Amazing results.
What is that?
So uterine fibroid embolization is also known as UFE, or uterine artery embolization. What they do is, it's a interventional radiologist. It's not a surgeon.
Okay.
An interventional radiologist, what he does is he takes a catheter
Mm-hmm.
and basically sends like this like aluminum pellets to block the blood supply that's feeding the fibroid.
Got it.
So naturally, if you're blocking blood to any type of organ, it's going to shrink and choke off and die.
Got it.
So what it does is it pretty much kills off the fibroid. Your body does eliminate it, naturally through, your menstrual and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So because of the size of the fibroids, I was told that I would be lucky if I got 50% shrinkage. The two largest were 11 centimeters and 7 centimeters. And that's about the size of a small melon and a grapefruit.
Wow.
So it was to no surprise that I was asked quite frequently if I was pregnant, especially after I got engaged.
Got it.
So I had uterine fibroid embolization, a doctor here in Atlanta, Dr. Littman, and I had great results. Fast forward to 2022, everything changed. My world changed. I started passing out, losing consciousness, started having heart palpitations. One day in particular, my husband and I, probably like after dinner, during a weekday, literally doing nothing on the couch, probably watching Family Feud, I don't know, relaxing, chilling out on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat up and I go, call 911. And he's like looking at me like, what are you talking about? And he saw the fear in my face and like you're serious. And my heart was racing. Like you could almost see it, like it was racing.
Oh.
Called 911. The paramedics showed up at my house. They took my vitals and they asked if I had been outside running. I said no, I was literally on a couch doing nothing, just chilling out, relaxing after a long day's work. They confirmed that my heart rate was at a 160 resting. So, a resting heart rate, those in the running community, you may know that a resting heart rate is anywhere from a 60 to about 100. My resting heart rate was 160.
Oh no.
Even when I do HIIT training, my heart rate probably gets to like a 150 max. Needless to say, I went on a 18-month journey trying to figure out what was going on. Why was I passing out? My body was shutting down on me.
Got it.
Went to doctor after doctor after doctor, a gastroenterologist, a cardiologist, a neurologist, a mental health doctor, my gynecologist, a specialist, a mental health provider. Even went to my general practitioner. No one could figure out what was wrong. They actually prescribed me Xanax and told me I was dealing with anxiety. And so I do believe that I developed anxiety because my body became so unpredictable because this kept happening over and over.
Got it. Okay.
Eventually, my cardiologist realized that the fibroid, although they had shrunken down, they were sitting on my iliac vein. Everyone has an iliac vein, men, women, everyone has them. And it's like a major vein in your groin area.
Mm-hmm.
And what it does is it recycles the blood supply from your lower extremities to your heart. So
Oh.
I literally was not getting blood to my heart.
Wow.
And she said to me, she says, it's not a matter of if something bad's going to happen, but when. She had no idea I had already started my whole movement. But that made me go even harder. Sorry.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
You pushed through that.
Thank you. So that's like my story. It goes so much deeper, but that's the gist of my story. And that's where my passion lies. Because people don't realize, like, oftentimes they're told fibroids are non cancerous tumors of the uterus.
Right.
The uterus is where the baby lives, where the baby grows. If a woman is wombless, uterusless, right, she cannot bear children naturally.
Right.
It is true that there are non cancerous tumors of the uterus. I mean, less than 5% develop into cancer, but that leaves a notion that they're not life threatening.
Right.
And they are. They are.
Let's talk a little bit more about some other symptoms that you faced because you were also in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I know there could be some issues with maybe the growth of your hair and nails.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you had also mentioned some of the emotional and kind of mental, psychological impacts.
Yeah.
So let's hear a little bit more about maybe those who might have some other symptoms.
So one of the most common symptoms of uterine fibroids is what's called menorrhagia. Menorrhagia is simply heavy or prolonged menstrual cycles, really, really bad periods, like in layman's terms, right? I mean, I know women in their 20s and 30s who periods will last 45 days straight nonstop. And literally they're doubling up regularly, changing every hour on hour. That was me. Other symptoms would be pelvic pain and pressure. because of the pressure, you develop um, pelvic congestion. You know, your womb has become so enlarged that you got your kidneys, you got your ovaries, you got all these organs here,
Right.
right? That you develop pelvic congestion. And I mean, pain during sexual intercourse. Like it's, I don't mean like the ooh that kind of hurts a little good. No, 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 no.
No.
Like it doesn't feel good at all, at all. Um, constipation.
Mm.
If you have pelvic congestion, more than likely you're going to be constipated. Constipation. So if you can just imagine how much that impacts your sexual life, your intimacy, just plain old relationships, period, because you haven't pooped in 4 days. You have pelvic congestion. It hurts, you know. But even women, because the periods are so bad, they develop anemia. And
Right.
anemia is what affects your hair, skin, and nails. So oftentimes women would see where their hair is falling out and they'll go to a dermatologist or either a hair specialist, not really realizing that it's because of the fibroids. So fibroids impact your hair, your skin, your nails, all of that. You know, you may develop adult acne, not really understanding why. That was me. I didn't understand why, and it was because of the fibroids. You know,
Wow.
but other things are like if you have like a really backed up lymphatic system, if you're not really cleaning and detoxing your body, that's going to be a major, major issue. A major issue. So those are going to be some of the most common
Got
symptoms
it.
of fibroids. You know, inability to hold your urine, or inability to hold other things as well. So,
Wow.
yeah,
So that can really become deeply seated as far as just struggling on a daily basis.
it messes, it really hinders every single aspect of a woman's life. Every aspect. Mentally, because you are so conscious, self conscious about having an accident. I've had an accident before several times. I wasn't doubling up, I wasn't tripling up, I was quadrupling up. Super tampon, overnight, super ultra, whatever it's called, a heavy duty overnight pad, the ones that almost look like a diaper,
Mm-hmm.
absorbent underwear, my like spandex shorts to hold it all in, and then my outer layer of clothing. And I would still have an accident if I didn't change within 1 hour.
Wow.
It affects your mental health because my best friend who's invited me to her birthday party, I really don't want to go because my period has been so bad for 11 days. So it affects your relationship. I'm not acting funny, sweetheart. I just am dealing with something. And because it's so humiliating, I don't have the tools. I'm not confident enough to speak my truth and say, girl, my period is bad. It affects vacation, it affects intimacy. If you have really bad anemia, it affects your relationship with your children, with your family, because you may be so lethargic, so exhausted, like beyond exhausted. You don't even have time to go outside and play with your kids or to go to your child's basketball game or extracurricular activity in school. And let's not talk about the financial aspect of
That
it.
part.
Impedes every aspect of a woman's life, every aspect.
Got it. So then let's move to then till now,
Hmm.
because now the Run Far 5K is in its fourth year, is it?
My fourth year,
Fourth
yes.
year,
Uh,
which is amazing. Let's talk a little bit about how you went from, pain to then turning that into the purpose of organizing, and kind of where we're at with the event in 2025.
Yeah, so when I was doing my research, Rebecca, I realized that everyone knows like the pink ribbon, right? I don't even
Mhm.
have to say what that is. Everyone understands walk for diabetes, walk for heart health, walk for Alzheimer's. Wait a minute. Black women are some of the most educated beings on the globe. Nothing against anyone else.
Right.
What I'm saying does not take away from anyone, any other demographic at all, but I'm speaking facts. Black women are one of the fastest growing CEOs, are one of the fastest growing business owner groups. Black women are one of the fastest growing degree earners. So we are a tremendous contributor to our economy. And so as I did my research, I said, wait a minute. No one's walking for us. Why ain't nobody out there walking? You walk for heart health, you walk for breast cancer. Nobody's walking for us.
Hmm.
So I created my own. Literally that simple. I didn't know anything about running, nothing, run, walk, nothing. So I started my own, had no idea I needed a race time management company. I didn't even know what any of that meant. But since day one, we have been a true race. What I mean by that, I don't have my sister or my girlfriend at the finish line with a stopwatch. It's truly timed. You run across that finish line.
Official.
It's official.
Okay.
And my second year, I got it certified. So it is USATF certified.
Period.
Period. Period.
Okay.
So you can participate in the Run for 5K and use that as a qualifier for the Peachtree Road Race. So yeah,
Absolutely amazing.
I'm serious about this thing because, like I said earlier, when God calls my number, I want to, I could have had my procedure and just went on about my life. Thrive.
Right. That was a viable option. And you could have a personal story and we could leave it at that. But
Exactly.
you have made this bigger than yourself. So I'm really curious to see, how did we go from kind of being maybe focused on yourself to then broadening out the cause for others?
When I was doing my research and I started having conversations with women, my sister, my mother, my nieces, plural, my mother in love, my husband's godmother, like my 3 or 5 of my close friends. I'm like, why isn't anybody talking about this? No one talks about it. And the main reason, well, I can truly say that now the conversations are starting to be had.
Right, of course.
But I can truly say that, when you start having that conversation, it makes others feel seen and it makes others feel like, you know what? Maybe this is something that's going on. And I realized very quickly that this is bigger than me. And it freaked me out. I remember the very day, it was on a Wednesday in 2019 at my old employer. I remember exactly where I was standing and I got that call that God was telling me to do something greater, do something greater. I didn't know. I'm like, God, you struggle with it, you wrestle with it. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, no one even knows me. Who's going to listen to me?
I'm just a girl.
Right. I'm just a girl with bad periods and bloated, appear to be pregnant.
Right.
And my friend said, just start an Instagram page and just tell your story. Okay. So here we are, fast forward to 2025. And, I have about between 150 to 200 registrants on a regular. That includes in person and virtual. And I'm just looking to grow this thing. And again, it's not about me. It's really to provide that resource, to bring attention, because you can only really cause a paradigm shift through movement, through voices that are heard. So that's really what this is all about. It's really what it's all about. It's not even about me.
It's bigger than you at this point.
It's way bigger than
and it's impacted others.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the feedback that you've gotten from those who have participated or maybe also suffer from fibroids?
I'm going to tell you about this one experience that literally is fried in my brain. My second 5K run walk, my second Run for 5K, we're running on a trail. It was the first 2 years I did at this family farm out in Powder Springs. And this young Black woman, probably early 50s or something, she's jogging past me because I do it too physically. As long as I'm physically capable, I'm going to be there with you every step of the way, every single time. And she's running past me and she turns and she's kind of like skipping backwards as she's talking to me. And she says, "Don't stop. Don't stop." And I'm like, I'm kind of in my zone, about to pass out, can't breathe. And I look at her, she goes, "Don't stop." She goes, "I know this is hard, sis, but we need you." And every time I think about that, it makes me cry because I realize that this is bigger than me. And when she gave me that type of feedback, and I'm going to be honest, it's discouraging because it's hard.
It's work.
And I don't have a team. I have friends and family who really show up for me, and that means everything. But, when you hear stuff like that, and when you hear, when I wear my shirt sometimes, whether I'm out and about, oh my God, I really wish I would have found you sooner because I would probably have an opportunity to be a grandmother because my 20-year-old daughter had a hysterectomy and cannot bear children naturally. When I get stories from men saying, I wish I would have heard about this sooner, and the thing about UFE or Sonata or a myomectomy or all these different options, or else I probably would not be divorced and I would have gave my ex-wife more of a chance. I would have understood it better. When you hear stuff like that, it really cuts you to the core. It cuts you to the core. So my goal is continue the movement so that people will feel empowered to give their feedback, to tell their story. Because again, through creating a paradigm shift is where you're going to see the true movement.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Well, you've done amazing work. And I know God will say, well done, my good and faithful servant, when it's your
Right.
time. Let's switch gears and talk a little bit more about the event itself. When is it happening? What are the events? What can people expect?
So it's happening this year on Saturday, July 26th at 8 a.m. at Grant Park, Atlanta. Again, Saturday, July 26th at 8 a.m. at Grant Park. And it's going to be a 5K run walk. This year, I'm introducing a 1 mile fun run for the children, and which is going to be super exciting. And you can actually participate in person. You can register to be a virtual participant. And as a virtual participant, you basically register, go do your own 5K run walk, and come back and log your time. And we'll send you your finisher medal and your t shirt.
Oh, nice.
You can create your own team. Actually, we're doing it now. If you have a team of at least a minimum of 4 people, you'll automatically get a $5 discount per person.
Oh.
You can gift the registration to someone else. So, to those gentlemen who, you may know a woman, your wife, your sister, daughter, whoever, you can gift the registration to them. And you can come out and volunteer. We need volunteers. You can also, which is one of the most critical things, a sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
We need sponsors. We need sponsors. The sponsorships go literally anywhere from $50 to $25,000. And you can also be a vendor. So we're looking for everything within the community.
Got it. Perfect. Where can we find you on social media?
Absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at the Fibroid Pandemic. So that's Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at the Fibroid Pandemic.
Got it. Very good. And is there a website, or is it
Yes,
just?
you can go online to the fibroidpandemic.com. And you'll get a sneak peek, I guess. We're soon going to be launching our provider directory. So that's part of the biggest thing with the resources. Oftentimes people don't know who to turn to or where to go, what their options are. So we're going to be launching our provider directory soon.
Very exciting. Yes. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for being on here on the Run Cult podcast, LaToya. We really appreciate your presence. It's important, especially given that how it disproportionately affects Black women. And like you said, we contribute so much to society. For some reason, there's no major movements for our issues and our causes. So when she reached out to me, I felt like, okay, this is important. Let me try to carve out the time to have her on before it's too late. So I'm happy that we were able to make it work. We jumped through hoops, but we made it, y'all. So be sure to follow her on social media and register for the Run Far 5K. And remember, everyone, running is not just a sport, it's a culture. Until next time. Toodles. Toodles. Yay! We did.